you've been watching our previous videos, you know by now how much of a threat AI is to privacy, mainly because it allows bad actors to now commit cybercrimes much faster, more efficiently than they used to. But something we haven't talked about until now is something new, which is called AI pornography or deepfake pornography. Using AI in just a few photos, cybercriminals can create realistic graphic videos or images of you, your friends, or your family members.
It is a crime happening far too often. Crooks using AI to create porn. This 18-year-old man in Hillsborough County is accused of doing just that by taking social media pictures and changing the picture to make the victims naked.
This is happening right now. It's on the rise and truly terrifying. Hello, my name is Michael. From My Data Removal, we are a channel dedicated to empowering you with the knowledge to protect your most valuable asset, your data. In this video, we're going to cover what AI porn is, cover some of the real-life victims of non-consensual AI porn, what regulators are doing about this, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. AI-generated pornography uses AI algorithms to essentially replicate behavior and create a highly realistic image and videos of people engaging in sexual acts. This is known as deepfake, and I covered it in our previous video. You can check it out. What sets AI porn apart from traditional porn is basically customization. With AI, users can specify exact preferences, including number of participants, sexual acts, or even the type of settings. This level of customization is not possible with traditional pornography. Some advocates of AI porn argue that it's more ethical because it doesn't involve real people. Tools like SoulGen or Candy AI lets users create adult content with fictional characters. This includes creating content featuring animals with human characteristics. Sophie Maddox, a professor of Annenberg School of Communication at the University of Pennsylvania, said, "Creating fake erotic images isn't inherently bad. Online spaces can be a great way to explore and enjoy your sexuality. However, there are major problems with AI porn, and we're going to cover 3 of them. The first problem is that AI is trained using data from real people. For example, ImageNet, a 1 terabyte dataset used to train AI systems worldwide, has been found to have photos not just of porn stars, but also of naked children, families on the beach, college parties, and more. These images were mainly crowdsourced or scraped from various websites. The ImageNet datasets help train AI to recognize and classify images, but using pictures of people in this dataset raises important ethical concerns. A study by the Stanford Internet Observatory found a dataset of millions of images of children. These images were used to train AI models like Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion lets users create cartoonish or human-like animal pornography. TechCrunch tested this tool and found the results to be extremely disturbing. So even though AI can generate fake erotic content, real people are still technically involved. And what's worse is that much of that explicit material used to train AI models is collected without consent, which is the next major issue with AI porn. Some AI companies do ask for user consent, but their terms and conditions are often hidden in long, complex documents that most people don't read, which basically means that users aren't clearly told how their data will be used to train AI. In today's digital world, almost everything is online. People post personal photos and videos on Instagram, Twitter, or Reddit. There are just hundreds of porn sites available to share very explicit content. But despite people's willingness to share online, everyone still deserves the right to give consent if their data is to be used in training an AI system. Informed consent, I believe, is a core principle of data protection laws. For example, the California Consumer Privacy Act in the US and the GDPR in the EU stresses the need for transparency. They require companies to inform users about how their data will be used and to get their consent before doing so. Aside from ImageNet, many other AI companies gather data without asking for permission. For example, in 2020, Clearview AI collected billions of images from social media platforms like Facebook and YouTube, all without users' consent. Of course, Clearview, they use this AI to help law enforcement solve cases like shoplifting or identity theft. But the fact remains that they collected all these images without any consent whatsoever. Now, should we be okay in a world where the end justifies the means at the expense of others? Another issue with training AI using people's images is that anyone can create explicit AI-generated content using someone else's photos without that person's consent. Earlier this year, sexually explicit AI-generated deepfakes of Taylor Swift were made and shared on platforms like 4chan and Twitter without her consent, obviously. These explicit images were allegedly created using Microsoft text image AI tools in order to bypass the filters meant to prevent AI porn creation. Now, you might be thinking, well, Taylor Swift is a celebrity. Her photos are everywhere and, people use it all the time without consent. Yeah, that's true, but the problem still remains. The problem is that this affects people who are not celebrities. And only when it happens to people as famous as Taylor Swift that people start to pay attention. I'll share some stories of non-celebrity victims later, but the key point here is AI-generated porn lacks consent, and this brings us to the third problem, which is exploitation and misuse. AI porn can be exploited for harassment, bullying, extortion, or even blackmail. In 2023, the FBI warned that criminals started using AI to create fake nude content of their victims. They would then use those images to extort and blackmail those victims, who are typically women and children. These criminals primarily get these images from social media. They usually demand payment like money or gift cards, or they even threaten to spread the AI-generated content if the victim doesn't comply. Sometimes they even demand that the victim send them real explicit images or videos in order to take down the AI-generated content. It's really disturbing because these cyber criminals are taking advantage of people's psychological weaknesses, and there's nothing anybody can do about it for now. By watching our online activities, they figure out who is more vulnerable to, let's say, blackmail. And they might target that person who has fear of public embarrassment or has a history of trauma. But really, it gets worse. Now, AI porn can be used by bad people to harass, bully anyone they choose, right? And in some cases, no financial gain is actually needed or necessary. Just the intention to just harass and bully. Angela Tipton was a teacher at a middle school in Indianapolis. She was targeted by her student who circulated a picture that had Angela's face on somebody else's naked body. Remember, these are middle school students. Angela found out when her son told her about it. When she looked at the deepfake image, she recognized her face, but obviously on somebody else's body. Now, the motivations of these students remain unclear, but they were punished. They were removed from her class. One student was actually transferred to another school for the remainder of the year. A no-contact order was put in place, and the students' schedules were changed. Their cell phones were banned from the school itself, and the school district apparently worked with the parents to prevent this kind of issues happening again. But you can understand, Angela felt that the measures didn't go far enough. She said, when you allow kids who distribute this kind of material to remain in the same building, it makes it look like it's not that bad. She also said that the incident affected her so much that she didn't know how she could stand in front of a classroom ever again in Indianapolis. And so essentially she changed her careers. Another victim of AI porn is the family of Miriam Al-Hadib Mendiri. Miriam was returning home from a trip when she found her 14-year-old daughter deeply upset. An AI-generated nude photo of her was posted online. And get this, she has never posted a nude photo on the internet before. But according to the police, a group of local boys grabbed her clothed pictures from social media and used a tool called AI Nudifier to create fake nude images of her and other girls. Reports show that law enforcement is seeing an uptick in people using AI to create child sexual abuse material, or CSAM. In 2023, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received more than 36 million reports of CSAM, including cases of using AI-generated images. This is a 12% uptick from 2022. There have been numerous recent arrests of perpetrators who use AI to create CSAM. For example, a psychiatrist was sentenced on child pornography charges with use of AI to digitally undress images of minors. There was also the case of a software engineer in Wisconsin who was arrested for generating and sharing thousands of AI-generated images of minors and then sending them to a 15-year-old boy on Instagram. And if that's not bad enough, a man in Florida was arrested for taking photos of young girls in his neighborhood and using AI to undress them. There are many more cases like these, but still, some people argue that creating AI-generated pornography images of non-existent minor is not against the law. Honestly, that argument is actually very false. It is illegal. In the case of Ashcroft versus Free Speech Coalition, the court established that computer-generated images of minors is considered child pornography, and the Child Protect Act of 2023 prohibits the creation, distribution, and possession of such materials. Now that you know the major problems associated with AI-generated porn, which are that real people's images are used to train AI model, AI companies collect these images without the user consent, and these AI images can be used for extortion, harassment, bullying, and even child abuse. Now, let's talk about the two disturbing stories of AI porn victims. Noelle Martin was an 18-year-old law student when her face was photoshopped onto the bodies of porn actresses and then uploaded to various websites, including porn sites. Now, these fake and explicit images of her are now known as deepfakes. Noelle spent years trying to remove these deepfake images, but new ones would appear every time she succeeded in taking one down. Now, the malicious actors, they accessed Noelle's photos, names, studies, and location details, all from her social media profiles. They even created deepfake images of her little sister. Noelle sought help from the police and various government agencies. She even considered hiring a private investigator, but it was too expensive, and no one really could help her. She was told to contact each website individually and request a removal. One webmaster even demanded a real nude photo of her in exchange of taking the deepfake ones down. She felt powerless and deeply humiliated by this relentless assault. She described it as fighting a losing battle, and when she was interviewed by Euronews, she said it was like a lifelong sentence that ruins people's lives, jobs, friendship, and romantic relationships. And once you are a target, there's little anyone can do to help you. Fortunately, though, Noelle stayed strong and became a lawyer. She now fights passionately for stronger rules to stop the creation and sharing of non-consensual sexual content, especially those that are made with deepfake technology. The next story is about Bobby Altoff, a well-known social media influencer and podcast host who also fell victim to non-consensual AI-generated porn. In February, Bobby discovered that she was trending on Twitter because a deepfake porn video of her was circulating wildly on the platform. At first, Bobby thought, images looked kind of fake, so she expected that no one would believe it. So, obviously, she brushed it off like it was not a big deal. But the deepfakes was so graphic and realistic that many did believe it. Even Bobby's team was like fooled. They kept asking her if what they were seeing online was real. So that's when Bobby realized that this was actually more serious than she had expected. These explicit deepfake content remained accessible on Twitter for nearly a whole day and garnered over 4.5 million views before being taken down. As a mother of two daughters, she said that she's troubled by the implications of AI technology. But unfortunately though, the makers of Bobby's deepfake content have never been caught and probably won't be. Noelle Martin and Bobby Altoff are just two of many victims of non-consensual AI porn. In 2020 alone, Deep Trace Labs, a cybersecurity firm in Amsterdam that focuses on detecting and monitoring synthetic media, found that 96% of deepfake videos were non-consensual AI porn. As I mentioned earlier, law enforcement in the US has reported an increase in deepfake porn scams. And as AI becomes more capable, explicit deepfake will likely become more common and harder to detect. Even OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, is considering allowing users to responsibly generate explicit content, including pornography, through its platform. The company says it's exploring whether it can responsibly provide the ability to generate not safe for work content in age-appropriate context. It added that they're looking forward to better understanding user and societal expectations of model behavior in the area, and that deepfakes will not be allowed on their platform. While OpenAI promises to implement measures to ensure responsible AI porn creation, critics say that it goes against the company's mission to develop safe and beneficial artificial intelligence for the world. So the big question now is, what are authorities doing to regulate AI? While some states have enacted laws to regulate deepfakes, these laws primarily focus on election integrity. For example, New Mexico enacted a law requiring disclaimers on AI-generated campaign content, making it a crime to use deepfakes within 90 days of an election to influence voting behavior. Georgia also passed a similar law. These regulations do not address the use of AI for creating pornographic content, which leaves a gap in regulating such content. Fortunately, though, Senators Maggie Hassan and John Cornyn have co-authored a bipartisan legislation that will regulate the sharing of non-consensual deepfake porn online. The bill will penalize people who share AI porn, including 2 years of prison and civil penalties of up to $150,000. While this bipartisan bill is a step in the right direction, it does not stop the creation of non-consensual AI-generated porn. The focus remains on penalizing those who share these images. Also, enforcing such a law will be challenging on an international level, as the internet allows for cross-border dissemination of content. While the bill strengthens the protections and provides recourse for victims, it will not prevent the creation and distribution of non-consensual deepfake porn from all sources globally. And we'll have to wait and see if the bill will be passed into law in the first place. In the meantime, though, researchers from MIT have developed a tool called PhotoGuard. It acts as a protective shield on images by altering the pixels in a way that's invisible to the human eye. But when someone feeds that image to an AI, the result looks completely unrealistic. While this solution is promising, it's still in early development. There are other proposals on how to combat non-consensual AI porn. While each holds a promise, a unified and collaborative approach is essential to finding a permanent solution. For anyone to be successful, collaboration will be required across all affected parties. Now, let's talk about what you can do to protect yourself and your loved ones from becoming victims of non-consensual AI porn. From our earlier discussion, we know that malicious actors generate AI porn by first collecting images of their victims from online sources like social media. So, to fight this, it would be wise not to post photos of yourself and your loved ones online. But given that we live in a digital world, it might be a very impractical or even impossible thing to do. Sharing images has now become such a daily routine for many people, whether it's to stay connected to friends and family, to build a personal brand, or to simply share moments. Even if you stop sharing photos of yourself online, there's no guarantee that your family members or your friends will not post pictures of you that they took themselves. Now, given this reality, and until tools like MIT PhotoGuard are widely available, the least you can do to protect your privacy is to make your social media profiles a little bit more private. If you use Facebook, make sure that your account is private so that people can't access and collect images you upload. To do this, first go to your Facebook profile and click the three-dot menu in the top right corner. Select Settings and Privacy, and then click Settings. Next, under Audience and Visibility, choose Lock Your Profile. This simple step will ensure that only your friends can see your account and everything you post. For Instagram, go to your Instagram profile and tap the three-line menu in the top right corner. Scroll down and choose Account Privacy. Then activate Private Account. This will ensure that only your approved followers can see your posts, stories, and profile. And for Twitter, go to your profile and find Settings and Privacy. Go to the Privacy and Safety section, then Audience and Tagging. There, you can turn on Protect Your Posts to make your tweets visible only to your approved followers. These simple steps will make your images more private. But remember, you are still sharing photos with your approved friends or followers, so make sure that these people are people that you really trust. Be selective about what you share, who you share it with, and where you share it, because what you share online can someday be used against you in ways you never imagined. That's all about AI porn that I have to share with you today. If you know someone who might benefit from this information, please share this video with them. Help them become more aware and take steps to protect themselves online. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you for tuning in today. Please subscribe and turn on your notification settings to ensure that you don't miss any of our future videos. See you on the next video.